and welcome to our new show on Channel 4, Where the Road Rises, Law, Lessons, Legacy. Where the Road Rises will bring guidance to the sandwich generation, those of us juggling care for aging parents, dependent children, and our frazzled selves. I am your host, Eileen Kerlin Walsh, and together with expert guests, we will tackle the legal, financial, and emotional challenges our brave caregivers face. And always, we will tell our stories, connect and learn through our shared heartache, triumph, and hard-earned wisdom. Our mission is to ease the burden and highlight the joy of these three precious generations living side by side. Channel 4 producer, your very own Ron Jankowski, joins me today to explore the mission and aims of Where the Road Rises. Welcome, Ron.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on the show, your first show, and I'm excited about the mission that you have, and this really is something that I'm sure the viewers are going to be interested in. And I do have a list of questions, and I'm going to ask you those questions.
Lovely.
If you could help the viewers and answer some of them.
Yes.
And of course, the sandwich generation. What is the sandwich generation?
Yes, it is an industry term, Ron, the sandwich generation. Maybe not all of our audience will be familiar with the term, but they'll certainly be familiar with the stressed out generation, the caregivers that the term refers to. We have over 50% of our population are caring for aging parents or a disabled spouse. They still have either minor children or dependent adult children living at home. And they're trying to take care of all that and try to take care of themselves. It's emotionally, physically, mentally, and sometimes financially exhausting.
It sure is. And why focus on that particular generation then?
Well, the sandwich generation, these caregivers fall right into my wheelhouse. They show up at my doorstep in the legal world. A lot of their issues, problems, concerns I deal with in my office. Senior care, I am steeped in. Ron, but I often found when I'd be speaking at events or on air or at a conference, when I would mention the sandwich generation, when I would mention the difficulties of the caregiver, just a torrent of response and emotion and tears would come forward. All these dammed up feelings would spill over because these caregivers felt so neglected. They were dealing with their aging parents. They were trying to take care of them. They were trying to keep their children healthy. They were trying to keep, maybe jealous siblings at bay or siblings who won't help at all but want to know what's happening. They were trying to take care of themselves and everyone else, and they were just finding it absolutely overwhelming, often to the point of breakdown. So I was inspired to, in addition to helping those caregivers take care of their seniors, which I have always done, to help the caregivers take care of themselves.
And it is a chore, because I personally am going to interject. I unfortunately lost my wife many years ago, and upon her death, I had her mother to take care of, and I had an aunt. They were both in their senior years in the nursing home and very demanding. And I was trying to control my life and where I was going, and at the same time take care of them. And that is a chore, and it could cause you to break down and need help. And so anyway, I appreciate everything that you're trying to do with this mission.
Thank you, Ron. And there's this happiness that we are at the nadir of our happiness in middle years. So we're happiest when we're younger, in our teenage years, our 20s. It's exciting, dating, getting married. And then this dips, and there's this midlife area of unhappiness. And it's not just midlife crisis. That's not what it's about. It's often about these very issues. It's no longer yourself, the lovely teen. When you were a teenager, there wasn't much to think about except yourself and keeping yourself happy. And as we go into your senior years, often a lot of that responsibility drops off, and you're back really to being responsible mostly for yourself. But that time in the middle, you are least able to focus on yourself, have so many people to take care of. The financial, even just Ron, the financial responsibility of trying to take care of parents who sometimes haven't got everything that they need. Their care is very expensive. Trying to think about your own retirement and the funds for that, and then trying to think about tuition or taking care of adult children who simply haven't flown the coop.
Right.
This can be so stressful that I feel that we can help that caregiver. We can still continue to help our seniors. A lot of our program is going to be focused on the senior, but we're also going to focus on that caregiver, recognize them, make sure they're heard, that we know how hard their task is, heralded for their bravery and the heroism of what they do, and give them tools and skills to help them do a better job and to take care of themselves.
Yes, exactly. The tools and skills to develop a way to be able to handle things because they pop up at any minute, like a financial plan. They did not back the senior people today, very senior, probably did not do their financial planning. As a result, their funds have exhausted. Well, now you have to figure out how is this going to take care of them, or how are you going to take care of them, and it's going to be coming out of your pocket. But I have another question. You and I both have hosted a Wills, Trust and More and the Connections on Channel 4. And over several years now, our audience has really enjoyed those shows. Where is the road rises in similarity, and is it different from what you were doing on the previous shows?
Great, great. What we hope to do is build, Ron. So a lot of what we did on Wills, Trust and More and Connections, we are still going to do. We're going to talk about senior issues, senior care, senior health, Medicare, Medicaid, pet care, benefits, all the things that we've talked about. We're going to continue to talk about those. We're just going to, and we're going to still have terrific guests, which connection style. We're just going to build on that by taking a more holistic view of the senior and the caregiver, not just taking care of them, getting them benefits, getting them residential help, but also taking care of them, their heart and soul, talking about their own ambitions. And there are so many people, Ron, that once they have children and adults to take care of, they forget about their own ambitions. So not only do we want to make sure that they don't have a nervous breakdown, our caregivers, but we want them to remember that they're thriving human beings who had ambitions and who had dreams and who want to be successful in life. I have heard so many mothers give their children inspirational talks that I wish they would give to themselves. They tell their children how they can be anything they want to be, reach for the stars, go for their dreams, don't let anything stand in their way. I want our middle-aged people to feel that way.
Yes.
I want our seniors to feel that way. So not just survive but thrive in through our middle years and into our senior years. That's what I want to add. I also want, above all else, my grandest ambition is our stories, for our seniors to tell their stories, our caregivers. You know, let's bring our stories on air and connect through our stories. It's there's a wonderful quote that says, "I thought it was my pain that separated me from everyone else, and then I read other people's stories, and I realized that it was my pain that connected me to everyone that is and ever had been." So we'll tell our stories, we'll connect, we'll share, we'll realize we're not alone, and we'll teach our seniors and our caregivers and everyone in our audience to tell their story, to write their story. As you know, Ron, I have been doing that for many years, how to structure it and how to leave it as a valuable gift for those coming after you. You've heard me say this before. Some of our seniors who've maybe given their life to service, who for whatever reason don't have a lot of financial assets to leave, I want them to know their stories every bit as valuable as those assets that someone else might have to leave. I want to teach them how to glean the meaning and purpose of their life from that story, and how to leave that as a very valuable asset to those coming after.
Fantastic. I think this is going to be a great show. And is there anything that you could give us some indication, a sneak peek of the future, of anything that you're coming up with in the show?
Thank you. Yes, we already have our guest for December, and I'm very excited to bring Pastor Rob, Dr. Rob Rob Thompson from Family Harvest Church in Tinley Park is going to be coming to speak to us. He's a fabulous speaker.
Very well-known church.
Dynamic gentleman.
Yes.
He has written over 30 books. He founded that church. Absolutely. He writes about success in relationships, in marriage, in business. He has traveled to over 40 countries. He speaks to governments, churches, corporations, organizations. He's a beautiful speaker. He's a wonderful story himself to tell. He grew up in poverty and neglect and came through all of that to lead thousands of people in his church. So he will be our guest speaker, and we're going to talk about storytelling and gift giving for the holiday season.
Fantastic. That's great. I'm going to try to schedule myself to work with Carl, our engineer, to be running the camera so that I'm here in the studio when he's here and you're interviewing him. I'm looking forward to that. Anything else in conclusion?
Not really, Ron. That is
you covered a lot.
It. We have covered a lot. We have grand ambition. I'm hoping that we're able to fulfill it. I think what I would like to say in closing to our viewers is, well, first, thank you so much for all the support you have given me this past 5 years, supporting me in Will's Trust and More and Connections. And you have often responded, both coming to my office, sending me notes. I have a couple of you who visit me regularly, send cards. I'd love even more engagement now. Come into us. This is your show. Engage with us. Let us know what your concerns are. Let us know what you want to see us cover in the show, and let us tell your story. So thank you, Ron, for joining me today. I look forward to the show. I look forward to us engaging in the future. And I look forward to you staying with me in the future, viewers. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for your continued support. And I will see you next time on Where the Road Rises.